Evening everyone, we're just heading down to St Helens, down to the Dover. Gonna head out on the kayak and try and catch some fish before the sun goes down. It's 32 degrees outside and yeah, it's definitely a warm evening. Hot putting the kayak on the car. I'm glad to get back into the air conditioning. So anyway, once we get down to the Dover, I'll catch back up with you and see if we can catch some bass. So we're down at St Helens now. At the moment we're heading towards Bembridge. Just paddle out towards Bembridge, where there are a couple of little... Whoa! I know of a couple of little sort of kelp beds and stuff. I'm just going to fish around there. Let the tide drift us back towards St Helens. That is the plan. It's a little bit choppier than I anticipated today. But there is a bit of a wind coming straight at me, so hopefully once we're on a drift, we should be fine. Whew. I've come over to St Helens hoping for a relaxing evening kayak fishing. The sun was out, the water was looking inviting, but it didn't take long to realise that the conditions were a little different than I'd expected. The waves were a little bit choppier than they looked from inshore. The tide was moving a lot quicker than I'd planned for. It definitely kept me on my toes. One of the best things about kayak fishing is that sometimes you don't have to rush. Just drifting along with the tide gives you a completely different view of the coastline. From the water, you get the perspective you just can't experience on land. Looking across the Bembridge fort really makes you appreciate the history that is sitting right on your doorstep. It was nice seeing all the families making the most of the warm evening. Kids playing on the beach, people relaxing. It's one of those summer evenings that reminds you why living on the Isle of Wight is so special. I sat there for a second wondering why my sonar looked so far away. Then it clicked. It had suddenly come off of its tether and was quietly trying to make an escape. Luckily, I spotted it before it went too far. Lost me sonar. That was lucky. It must have just come unclipped, literally just then. Don't want to lose that. That was a lucky escape. Watching the sunset start to dip below the horizon from the kayak is something that never gets old. The world seems to slow down for a while, and all you can hear is the water gently moving around. No trophy fish this evening, but I don't feel like I've gone home empty-handed. A beautiful sunset and a few miles paddled, and another evening spent exploring the Isle of Wight from the water. That's a pretty good trade, if you ask me. Well, that's me back in the car after another evening out on the water. Fishing didn't quite go to plan tonight, no fish. So that's just what happens sometimes. Sea was a little bit choppier than expected, but we decided to give it a go anyway. Even without catching anything, it was still a great evening. Managed to catch the sunset over behind the castle. Not the castle, the church. You know, this is what the trips are all about. They're not about catching fish. It's all about getting out there, getting out and adventuring. So, if you've enjoyed the video, please consider liking and hitting that subscribe button, even if you're new. It really helps the channel a lot. So, I'll see you next Sunday for another adventure.